Oh, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to my show. I get a big announcement. As you can already guess from the title of this episode, the Jason Buff podcast is now available on YouTube. It's official. It finally happened. I didn't think it was ever going to happen, but it finally did. For like almost a fucking year, I've been trying to figure out how to get my show on YouTube. I wasn't able to do it. It had something to do with the algorithms or something. But it finally happened. The original home for my show is on Spotify. The way it works is like I could send a link out to different websites and get my show linked up to different websites. That's why my show is on Amazon and Apple and iHeartRadio. But they didn't have a link for YouTube. They had a link for Google, but not YouTube. So my show was on Google, but not on YouTube, which was weird because YouTube is owned by Google. And so what happened was Google, they had a section for podcasts, but they shut it down. They made an announcement this week that they're shutting their podcast section down. They're moving shows over to YouTube. So they sent my show to YouTube. I was like, cool, finally. They should have been did this, you motherfuckers. Oh man, this is a celebration. I'm excited. Moving over to YouTube. But I'm also cautious at the same time because YouTube has gotten so strict lately. Like they demonetize people's videos over like little petty shit. Like if you're using a lot of foul language like I do, they'll demonetize your videos. They won't promote your shit at all. Like if it's really offensive and vulgar. And we all know I am. So yeah, my show's on YouTube, but they're probably not going to promote it. I'm probably not going to make no money over there. Don't be surprised, like, if you see my show on YouTube and it's got no views. It's because they didn't promote my shit because I'm too vulgar. I don't give a fuck. I'm not changing my shit. The only way you make money on YouTube these days is, like, if you're rated G. Like, if you're making some Disney shit, like some Mickey Mouse shit. That's the only way you're going to make money on YouTube these days. But not me. I keep it real. I stay vulgar. I'm always going to be the same person. I'm always going to be who I am. Yeah. Can't nobody tell me shit. I'm on YouTube, y'all. Yep. So yeah, go ahead. Go over to YouTube and check out my show. It should actually be easier for you to find my show. It's like much easier for you to access my show on YouTube. You don't even have to type it in. Just speak into the microphone. Jason Buff Podcast, and it'll immediately show up. Most of my stuff will show up. There's some other fucker named Jason Buff that's on there too. Same thing, like when you Google my show. Yeah, I want to apologize to all my fans. Like if you Google Jason Buff and you're expecting to see pictures of me, but instead you see pictures of some fat, ugly ass old motherfucker who also has the same name. I apologize for that. That other Jason Buff, he's not even a celebrity. He's like a photographer or some shit. But, this type of stuff, it's common in showbiz. People having the same names. But then a lot of times, celebrities end up changing their name so they won't get sued. But I'm not doing it. But yeah, that type of shit happens all the time. For example, like 20 years ago, there was a reggae singer named Sean Paul. He was huge. But then there was also a rapper named Sean Paul. They both came out at the same time, like around 98. The rapper Sean Paul, he was like in a rap group called the Young Bloods. At first, I think the first few years, no one cared. But then like around 02, like Sean Paul really started blowing up. The Jamaican Sean Paul. And so the Sean Paul in the rap group, he had to end up changing his name because people kept mistaking him for the Jamaican Sean Paul. I know that's going to be annoying as fuck. Then it also happened with the wrestler Shawn Michaels. There's also a porn star named Shawn Michaels. The wrestler Shawn Michaels tried to sue the porn star Shawn Michaels for the rights to the name. But the porn star Shawn Michaels, he already had his name trademarked. So the wrestler Shawn Michaels couldn't do nothing about it. Like the porn star, he's still using that name. He's still doing his thing. But he's not as hot as he used to be. Like he's, I heard he's doing gay porn now. He's not boning hot chicks no more. That's how it is with porn. You might do good for a couple of years, but then you eventually fall off. You do whatever it takes to make some money. You take what they give you. It's just like a role in Hollywood. You know, dudes start off starring in like big budget action movies, and after a few years they get demoted to straight to video movies. Yep. Also, I think it was a Hollywood actor that was forced to change his name. The dude that played Batman in the 80s, Michael Keaton, that's not his real name. I'm gonna look that shit up right now. He had the same name as another actor. Yo, yeah, Michael Keaton. His real name is Michael Douglas, but there's also an actor named Michael Douglas. The dude that was in Wall Street. That was a good ass movie. He was also in that Indiana Jones wannabe, the fake ass Indiana Jones movie called Romancing the Stone. My family actually had that movie on VHS tape back in the day, and the sequel, Jewel of the Nile. Yeah. Okay, but yeah, I'm not changing my name. I don't give a fuck. Well, even if Buff's not my real name, I'm still not changing it. Yeah, like, Buff, that's not my real last name. That's a stage name. My actual last name is Huff, but I never liked that name. It goes back to elementary school and middle school. Like, back in the 90s, the biggest rapper, like in the late 90s, was Puff Daddy, P. Diddy. He was on top of the world back in the late 90s, and kids used to tease me relentlessly. They used to call me Huff Daddy. They wanted me to dance like P. Diddy, like do the dance like Puffy does and shit. Like, oh man, they just, every day those kids were ruthless, calling me Huff Daddy. I hated that shit. And it wasn't even no kid that gave me that name. It was actually a grown ass man in school that gave me that name. It was the guidance counselor fucking called me Huff Daddy. And then that started a trend. All the kids in school called me Huff Daddy. The fucking guidance counselor did that shit. It's like I told him, I'd be like, man, don't call me Huff Daddy. I don't like it. He would still call me Huff Daddy anyway. Like every time he sees me in the hallway, he'd be like, Huff Daddy, what up, baby? What's going on? Then all the kids start laughing. I hated that shit. So, yeah. When I turned 20, start lifting weights, when I started bulking up, I'm like, fuck it. I'm not Huff no more. I'm Buff. I'm Jason Buff. So that's how the name started. Yep. All right, what else is going on this week? Beat a lot of video games. Yeah. I beat a lot of games last couple of weeks because I was on vacation last week. Then I beat some games while I was at work. Beat Golden Axe 3. I finally got the good ending. I beat Golden Axe 3 a couple of years ago, but I had the bad ending. This time they gave me the good ending. I don't see what the difference was. I was like, I busted my ass playing this game. Killing all these monsters and shit, and you're going to give me a bad ending. That pissed me off. Golden Axe is a weird game. Because it's like every game, with every sequel, it's like, it'll take place like hundreds of years after the previous game. And it's like all the characters from the new game look just like the characters from the old game. But they're like, oh, no, they're not the same person. Those aren't the same people. They're descendants of the characters from the previous games. I'm like, no, they ain't, motherfucker. They're the same people, man. You just renamed them. Shit's fucking dumb. The plot of the game is you gotta like get the golden axe, basically. Like the title of the game, Golden Axe. That's what the goal is in the game. You gotta get the golden axe. You gotta get it from. You gotta defeat this villain called Death Adder. That's like the dumbest name ever for a villain. That name makes no sense. What the fuck is an adder? Death Adder. So yeah, I beat it again. The first time I beat it, it was with this bitch. that looked like, she looked just like the bitch from Mortal Kombat. What's her name? Karina. What the fuck is her name? The bitch that had the mask on. It was like she had on a bikini. She had on a thong and her face covered up. Damn, I cannot think of that bitch's name right now. Hold on, let me look up that bitch too. What the fuck was that bitch's name? I just had it yesterday. I forgot already. Hold on. Katana, yeah, that's the name of that bitch. Yeah, it was like a girl on Golden X3, looked just like her, but she had on a red thong. Okay, this time I beat the game with like the main character. It was like this big buff dude. Looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, so yeah, I beat that. And then I beat some whack ass game called Bubsy. Bubsy is like a fake ass Sonic the Hedgehog. He came out around like 93. And they still making these lame ass Bubsy games today. I only bought it for like $3. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't care. I'll play it. It was on sale. It was like this game was like a Bubsy reboot, because it was like in 2017, you know, they had the Crash Bandicoot remake, where they remade the first 3 Crash Bandicoot games with like modern HD graphics. So they did the same thing with Bubsy, but it's not the same. It sucked ass. It was basically, there was like 15 levels and all the levels looked the same. It was like the same fucking level over and over. They just changed the characters. That was it. It was the same damn level over and over. I beat that. Oh, I beat The Art of Fighting. That was a tough ass game. The Art of Fighting is like this fake ass Final Fight meets Street Fighter type of game. It's got like the story of Final Fight combined with a fighting game. Okay, if you're not familiar with Final Fight, it's like the greatest beat 'em up of all time. The story centers around Mike Hagar. He has a daughter that gets kidnapped, and then it's her boyfriend's trying to rescue her. And so it's a beat 'em up. You just go through the streets of New York. It's really what it's called Metro City, but it's really New York City. So you just go through the streets of New York, just beating up thugs, trying to find this daughter. With The Art of Fighting, they did the same thing, but it's not a beat 'em up. You're just like fighting one dude at a time, like on Street Fighter. Man, that game was hard as fuck. That's like one of the most frustrating games I ever played. It was made by SNK, so no shock there that it's tough as fuck. SNK, they made like the hardest arcade games back in the day. Like super hard. You know, because with those fighting games back in the day, they were all about, you know, generating revenue, trying to get as many quarters as possible from the customers. Like back in the day, if you put an SNK arcade machine in your laundromat or something, you could rake in thousands of dollars a month from that arcade machine, because those games were so fucking tough. You probably can to this day. I mean, not that much, maybe a little bit, a few hundred, because like, oh, if a little kid goes to a laundromat, he's probably not going to be interested in playing an SNK game. He's going to be like, why pay 25 cents to play this game when I can download the game for free on my phone? But go ahead and download it, you little shit. They ain't gonna fucking play it. Don't even invest your money in an arcade machine, because them fucking kids, they gonna do what they want. They ain't gonna play that shit. But yeah, I beat Art of Fighting, and it had the most disappointing ending ever. Like, I bust my ass playing this game. I was frustrated, because the last boss is hard as fuck. I finally knocked this motherfucker out. Then the story ends. It's like the dude's whooping this monster's ass. And then like a little girl comes out. She's like, stop it. Don't beat up on him. He's our... Then it says to be continued. And you can see where it goes from there. The next game you find out, oh, that's their father. That was like the weakest ending ever. Fuck that game. Yeah, anyway, yeah. And like the main character of the game was like a fake ass Ryu. He looked like Ken, but he had the name similar to Ryu. Then they had a second character named Robert Garcia. It was a dude with a ponytail. So it was like a cheap, generic ripoff of Street Fighter. And then Capcom, the makers of Street Fighter, they got back at SNK because then they made a character where they mocked them. Like on the Street Fighter Alpha, they got a character named Dan, where it's like they was making fun of those dudes from Art of Fighting. Like the character Dan, he's wearing a pink gi, and he's got a ponytail, and he's got like some weak ass attacks. Like his attacks don't do much damage. He's actually one of my favorite characters in the Street Fighter series. I like him for some reason. He kind of reminds me of Steven Seagal. Oh yeah, then I beat some low budget titles. I beat Thundershock. That was a good ass game. I think I only paid like 69 cents for that. Then I beat a game called Donuts and Justice. It was like some cop shooter game. It looked just like Broforce. I beat the game. I thought it was going to last a while. It ended after just stage 5. Like, what? It was only 5 levels? So I was disappointed about that. I only paid like $1 for that game anyway, so like, whatever. So yeah, I'm on YouTube, man. I'm happy, but I'm also cautious at the same time. We'll see how long I last on there. It's probably not going to be long. But I just wanted to get the word out to let y'all know. I did it, y'all. I'm on YouTube. All right, later, folks. I got to go. Bye.